Welcome in Tuesday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. We are getting quite close to opening weekend.
Thank God, we're running.
We are there.
We're out of things to write about.
Lane Kiffin's press conference yesterday proved that in spades. We'll get to that.
You know, you said this a week ago, and I was like, "No, I'm not quite there yet." Well, I'm there now.
It just took a few extra days.
I was a little behind you on the. No, I'm tired of preseason. Yeah, after yesterday, I'm done.
Just you're tired of preseason.
Play a game, please, for the love of God.
Play anyone.
Just a game, any game. I don't care who it's. Schedule a new game.
Suddenly, Neal's all in on these week 0 games because it gets you into game week earlier.
I'm wishing the team.
If you're headed to Dublin tomorrow, you'd be.
You know what? I'd actually sign up for it right now just to have something.
Would you go to Dublin?
I don't know. I have to think about it. I have to get that sponsored.
If you're a Georgia Tech fan, it's like, hey, or a Georgia Tech site, am I going to Dublin to get beat 49-3? Is that what we're doing? I mean, are we going to do that?
I actually think they're going to be really competitive in this game.
Do you?
I do.
Look, Haynes King getting a little preseason pub going.
He was good in Oxford.
He was. No, he was really good. Yeah, I mean, he kept them pseudo in it when it wasn't a game.
I mean, they were never threatened to win the game, but I thought they
played well.
I thought they represented themselves quite well that day. I thought you could tell that was a very well-coached team. I mean, seriously.
I am pulling out the quarter zip today. There is just a crispness in the air, but I tell you, that's not why. I've done this a couple times, even when it's scorching outside. It's that I'm in run clothes, and I wasn't just necessarily going to wear like whatever my run top was on camera, so I've just got a quarter zip on over a dry fit shirt to run. So, yeah, that's the deal. It wasn't necessarily because I got up and went, "Oh God, North Face Day." No. But it is. Look. We're in that faux fall. There's that just slight, just
if you say so,
microscopic hint to the air this morning. No, it was pleasant. It was good.
I mean, your boy was throwing sweat off his head running this morning, so we're not quite there yet.
Well, okay, in a minute. Okay. First, Blue Sky locations all over Mississippi, up and down I-55 throughout North Mississippi, as well. Sweet Daddy's locations everywhere: pulled pork, ribs, side items, desserts, and whatever you need going there with your convenience store and food needs. Help them out. Help us out. As always, use all of our sponsors, including Credit Oil, Blue Sky, and the Oxford Exxon. Again, competing from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no haggle, no hassle. You get your quote. And the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. You will love the product. You'll love the service of the people at Clark Ford. They want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove it to you when you make the call, 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. So visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Yeah, because I tell you one today was so pleasant, and I don't think you and I even talked about this because we hadn't talked to Sun since Friday. You're just going to nod along and you get to say you're right here a little bit. I had a pretty rough Friday from a heat standpoint. Had my long run Friday morning, marathon training. And as I said last week, the problem, I was running really early. I got up at,
what was the run?
It was 9 miles.
Okay.
And I got up at 3:45 to run it from like 4 to 5:30, whatever that ends up being, somewhere in there.
Because you're running roughly, what, 9:45 miles?
Yeah, 10, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So something like that. And as I said a couple weeks ago, the problem with this early morning running is how humid it is.
Yes.
It's not hot, but it's humid, which means the sweat has nowhere to go. I'm like 4 miles in, and I am wringing out my shirt while I'm running. So I get to like mile 5, and I run by the house, and I just throw my shirt in the mailbox. I'm like, the hell with it. I've got to get as cool as I can. And I completely bonked. I had like 2 miles to go, and I finished, but I was walking. I was done, completely wrecked. Well, a couple hours later, we had football practice outside. And I get it's only 15, 20 minutes, but it was hot as hell at like 10:30.
Yes.
It was actually closer to 11 by the time we got out there. I was really struggling, and then went to an event that you and I were both invited to. You were out of town, and they had a much larger crowd than expected.
So it was hot.
Oh, brutally hot. No one's fault, just people is what it is. After like an hour, I realized that I was, because it was a little bit of a nicer thing. I had pants and a polo on. I had sweat just running down my leg, and I was like, I'm gonna risk almost like some heat exhaustion here. I've got to get out of here, because I was starting to have that reaction where my entire body was just coated in sweat and it was pouring, and I went, okay, I'm done. So I've had a bit of an issue.
Do you
the
want me
last
to
few
preach
days.
at you now, or what? Because I've tried to help you. It's so.
I'm a little hard headed. It's
when
okay.
you run in Philadelphia, it's not going to be like that. And
No, the average temperature of kickoff is 37 degrees.
So if it is like that, my advice to you: if you wake up in Philadelphia on November the whatever that is, and it's 90 something degrees outside, and just forget it, go home, go have a beer. But it's not going to be like that. You need to start thinking about doing your long runs on treadmills.
I know.
Because actually you're simulating what it's going to be like.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that right now. In no way.
No. Well, what you're doing now is you're making it where you're setting yourself up for an injury.
Well, like Tupelo Rep says, do I drink any coffee before my morning runs? No, because I'm getting up and immediately going. Number one. Number two, and it's my issue in general, and we'll get to football in a second, but I did actually get some people going, no, go ahead and talk about it. So we'll talk about it off and on. Hydration when you get immediately up and run is a problem, because you haven't had any water for however long you've been asleep, and not like I'm going to guzzle water right before bed and have to go to the bathroom 9 times overnight.
You don't take water to bed with you?
It's there, but I'm not guzzling it or drinking it. Okay. No. And I have a little bit of a hard time staying hydrated in general. I mean, I've got an element in this thing right now just to have a little salt for a run today. And I've realized that on these long runs that I'm doing immediately when I get up, I am not fully hydrated. Mm-hmm. So even my heart rate goes up a little bit. I'm reacting to that. So I've got multiple reasons why I'm having a bit of a problem. And it's outside of Friday, it's been okay at 9, but it's probably not going to be okay at 13, 16, 18, 20.
So what corral are you signed up for? The 4 hour, the 420, 440?
Yeah, I went for, it was like 4, I see it was off pace, not whatever. And I think it on time wise ended up like 4:35 or something like that was the way it was set up.
So you'll start slow because there's going to be so many people.
Well, yeah, and you're going to start slow, period.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't care on time.
The Kenyans don't start slow.
They go. They're at the front, and they start, and they don't stop until they're done.
Like a rocket propulsion.
Yeah. So, no, I don't. Look, if it takes 4:05, awesome. If it takes 5:45, I don't care. I'm not focused on that whatsoever.
Of course not. So, well, then you need to start doing your long runs indoors.
I want to enjoy. What I'm hoping for with training has nothing to do with time. It's that I'm not so bonked or hurt where I don't enjoy the last couple miles. That's literally it. Even if I'm going slower, if I can just enjoy the last like 15 minutes, I'll be very happy with whatever it looks like from there. I don't want to be at mile 20 going, I'm hurt and I've got to get 6 more miles hurt.
Well, you're doing your body absolutely no favors getting up at 3:45 and running 9 miles in the humidity. I mean, that's just, no offense. I mean, I'm not saying you're stupid. That's stupid. You'd be much better off sleeping normal and at some point during the day going to a treadmill, put a movie on the damn screen. It doesn't matter. And just...
I have a treadmill at my convenience.
And just put it on the pace that you're going to try to run.
And just go.
And go.
It still counts.
You're still going to sweat. You're still going to get the run in, but you're not going to do the bonk thing.
Yeah. That's the first time in a long time I've completely bonked, and I bonked. Like, I was done. I couldn't.
Well, it's because it's stupid humid here.
Yeah,
right
I couldn't do anything. I
mean, Carson had a soccer tournament over the weekend, and you could see the heat coming off the turf. You could literally see it.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I was sitting in a chair bitching about the heat. I
don't recommend 91% humidity for outdoor training in any capacity.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting on a second pair of socks, and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, my feet are burning.
Yeah, if you think you're going to, good point, G-Man. If you think you're going to go slow, go slower. Yeah, just get out. Just go. Because your adrenaline will kick you. Everything does that for 5Ks, 10Ks, 10 milers.
No, it'll kick in numerous times. There'll be people along the route. You'll have fun, but you need to prepare for the long runs like you'll do the long runs. And you're not going to run the long runs in that humidity, so stop training in it. It's dumb. I mean, it really is. I mean, actually, in that kind of humidity, anything more than about 6 miles is sort of silly because you're just.
Today will be pleasant. Today's good, but
yeah, it's okay. It was going to be in the 80s. What's your run today?
5.
Yeah, you can do it outside.
Yeah, I'm okay.
But because your long run this week's 10.
10. Yeah, 10 Friday.
You should just get on a treadmill.
Cuts back to 7 next week.
You should get on a treadmill. You'd actually.
I'd enjoy it and feel okay the rest of the day.
You'd be bored, but you're just training, and then you'll feel better. Your recovery the next day, you'll notice a dramatic difference.
It's true. So
because your longer runs are coming like that 13, a 14,
16.
You've lived through Fridays in September in Oxford before.
It's not.
You
going
sort
to
of
be.
know what's coming, right? I mean, it's going to be 90 degrees. What's the point? It's not going to be 90 degrees in Philadelphia. And if it is, for the love of God, give up and don't run.
Your recommendation would be just stop at that point and congratulate yourself and move on.
I ran one at 72 degrees and hated it. Cannot imagine running anything hotter than that.
Yeah, it's Philadelphia on that day over the last 10 years. 37 degrees at 7 a.m., low of 34, high of 52.
Perfect.
That's what it says.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you going to carb load with chicken Alfredo?
I don't, I mean, for what not, I don't really believe in that. So I'm like, I'm good. My biggest thing is I've never run with gels. So I got to have to figure out how to stay nutrient based as that long a period of time.
We're really goobing out the people right now.
We'll do a show on this later.
I did the goose.
Yeah.
And I would do one every hour.
Every hour?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got 1,000 questions, but it's fine. We'll do it later. We got time. We got 14 weeks and how many
well, and the big thing is they'll have hydration stations throughout.
Yeah, sure.
You should capitalize on them.
Go ahead and use those.
And that's the other thing about last thing. Then we'll move on. The other thing that a treadmill does for you is it allows you to practice your hydration.
Yeah. Because when you're out running, you got to get back to your home base where you have stuff.
This way, every 2 miles on the treadmill, you can stop for 10 seconds and drink 2 gulps of water or 2 gulps of Gatorade, or even alternate water and Gatorade, which is what they do on the course.
Right.
So you can actually practice that.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you can run in 98-degree weather with 4,000% humidity and
hope for the best.
And just see what happens. I mean,
I got done. I was like, well, I got the miles in. It's fine. I mean,
Yeah. Who drinks Coca-Cola? That's Lane Kiffin. I couldn't believe he did it. I was like,
oh, wait, so he did this completely unprompted.
On his own. He was, So Lane walks in yesterday, does not want to be there. So this people will enjoy this. This is
we got 7 minutes. Go ahead.
This is behind the scenes. We had been told we were going to get Walter Nolan and Juice Wells yesterday. So kind of from a journalism standpoint, kind of pleased. Hey, this is going to be interesting. 2 guys we want to talk to. 2 guys that are big parts of the team. And about 2 minutes into Lane's PC press conference, we get notification that we're not getting Wells or Nolan. And I think that sort of took the air out of the room because we got it. All I got that text. And so Lane got asked about the scrimmage. It was fine. Defensive line was good. Really good. Controlled the offense. Got asked about backup quarterbacks. Shocker, he likes them both. Got asked about Xavier Harris.
They're still gathering details.
We're aware. No comment. It's pretty obvious we're not getting much here. And
4 minutes and 36 seconds, something like that.
And I think at that point, we're 12 days away. Chris Lowe of ESPN's in the room. Mm-hmm. So nobody's going to give ESPN if there is a big story, no one's giving it to them in that environment because Chris is going to go back and then get all the details, right? So everybody just sort of checks out. Waves the white flag. And Lane's, I think, sensing that we're waving the white flag.
So he waves the white flag.
He goes ahead and drops the checkered flag and says, he's looking at the Coke and he goes, does anybody drink this?
So why do you think he did it? Other than he listens to the podcast. Why yesterday? That Coke's been up there for 5 years.
I don't know. And then I immediately said, because I'd been listening to a podcast the other day where they talked about how much sugar's in a Coke.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, did you know that you'd have to eat 16 oranges to get the sugar? 16 oranges. You have to eat 16 oranges to get the sugar that's in one Coke. And of course, obviously, if you ate 16 oranges, you'd start feeling really crummy because of all the fiber and stuff. You wouldn't feel good, which is the point.
Yes.
And he looks at it and looks at the grams of sugar and comments on grams of sugar.
He was 65 grams in the 20-ounce bottle.
Something like that. And I said, do you ever drink Coke? And he goes, no, I can't remember the last time. He goes, Chris Lowe does.
He did.
Which was hilarious. Kind of mean.
That was kind of mean.
But that was it. And away we go. That's it. Ball game. And I really thought Ole Miss would cut that.
They didn't.
They didn't. I was like, hey, tip my cap.
It was right there.
I mean, people at Coke can't be thrilled.
Because that Coke's up there for a reason. It's a sponsorship to some degree, or it would not be there.
Austin says, I'm honestly expecting an announcement that Ole Miss is switching to Pepsi just so he can push Gatorade.
I actually prefer Powerade Zero to the Gatorade free calorie options. I prefer Powerade Zero to Gatorade Zero or whatever it is they call it.
I kind of do too.
Yeah.
I like both. I consume a good bit of both. The zeros.
Yeah. I only have them after mid to long runs. I don't drink one every day, but I keep them.
But I don't know what led him to.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, I do wonder if it had some, not from him listening, but some relation to the podcast. Because why this week? We only brought it up the other day. It has not been mentioned in 5 years.
Yeah. And he brought it up.
That's what I mean.
I mean, I wasn't going to ask him about the Coca-Cola. Certainly in a day where it was obvious that everyone wasn't in the greatest mood. I mean, I just think we're 3 full weeks into camp. And
it was a couple different things.
Time to play.
Yeah, we're 3 weeks into camp. I think he is, because he's very offense-based. He's a little frustrated by the nagging injuries on the offensive side of the ball that's preventing them from doing some of the things they want to do.
And reading between the lines, the offense got its ass kicked in the scrimmage.
The defensive line continued to be dominant, which is good. But I mean, I was out there on Friday. Y'all didn't have a viewing on Monday yesterday,
we did
right?
Not.
Okay, so what we saw was the last thing that has been seen to this point. And from an offensive side, there's still no Deion Smith. Jordan Watkins was in a black jersey. Juice Wells was in a black jersey.
It has been all of camp.
Yes. And then offensive line play, they had Acker was on a bike. Warren was on a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Scott was not taking part in drills, even though he was in a red jersey. Pettis has been on a bike lately. Like nothing I don't think that is a detriment to the meat of the schedule, but they're just having a lot of stuff. And that's what happens. I mean, you can tackle as little as you want to, but you can't help running around for hours and hours and hours and not pulling or grabbing or something happening to your body at some point.
Yeah.
And that's what they're getting hit with right now. And I feel like there's actually another wide receiver injury, too, that I'm not thinking of right now. I felt like they had one more in a black jersey on Friday, too. So they were really limited from an offensive
Noriel White was
standpoint.
in a black jersey one day last week.
Okay.
If I recall.
This is one of those kind of like on the hoof things, but I thought that given his ACL recovery, Logan Diggs looked like he was in really good shape.
Oh, okay.
He was actually in uniform, even though obviously not doing anything, had a brace on his knee still, but I saw him in uniform on Friday, and he
moving around a little bit.
He looked normal body-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't look like he had just gained 25 while he was on the shelf. So make of that what you will.
Damn gifted athletes. Must be nice, huh?
Yeah, can't do anything lower body-wise for like 8 months and looks like Adonis. It's the way that works.
Gain an ounce, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Jackass.
So, yeah, I think what's happening is the defensive line is blowing a lot of stuff up, and it's affecting what the offense is able to do in scrimmages. And he does think the offensive line is going to be all right, but they're...
But, yeah, and then you had the Harris thing. There was just stuff. And so he
has to be frustrated.
Wasn't in the greatest mood.
Because, look, I mean...
And, look, we're kind of out of stuff to talk about, right? I mean, What are we going to do? Ask about expectations again? The AP wrote about expectations the other day. That's fine because John Zehner's going to write one story about Ole Miss in the preseason. Well, we're writing 50. And so I'm out. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
It's two things. It's
like,
one,
I don't know.
time has simply hit us, and B, we don't see anything, so I got nothing to go on.
Right.
Which is cool, but
It's
I have
fine,
nothing to go on.
Yeah. I have no observations from practice.
I mean, and he gets to tell you whatever he wants to tell you from the scrimmage. I mean, because the question was asked, hey, what'd you think of the scrimmage on Saturday? And all he talked about was line play.
Yeah.
He said nothing else.
And I wasn't there to go, well, I did see this.
Yeah, so what about that play, Caden Lee? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
No, nothing.
I don't know. I mean, Caden Lee could have played strong safety for all I know on Saturday.
The good news is this time next week we'll be in game week, and we'll have games. And once games happen, it gets a lot easier to cover teams. That's why NFL has preseason games. For media, is like, oh, thank God. Because you can at least take a few things from preseason games and work on stories.
It's true. So
we don't have preseason games.
Yeah. More football after the break. Before they do that, tell you about the Citizens Bank. You're not just an account number there. You're a valued member of the community. And if you find yourself in the market for a loan, whether for a new car, mortgage, business, or a checking or savings account, they're here to help you achieve your financial goals. Stop by and visit them today. That's 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E in Oxford. Discuss your options with one of their experienced bankers who values your unique financial journey. It makes every moment uniquely yours. Your success is their top priority. While you're there, be sure to ask about the School Spirit debit cards. How they donate an amount per every transaction to the local school of your choice, whether it be Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents.
We're all brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, but the same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. I'll have a post-game column to you in, 11 days? It will be brought to you by Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, and everything in between, Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise to make your property look and feel brand new. If you're in North Mississippi, let Window Hero make your home or business's exterior look amazing. Their experts are fully bonded and insured. Window Hero provides specialized equipment, exclusive cleaning solutions, a satisfaction guarantee. They can clean up to 4 stories on buildings. Window Hero has locations in Oxford, Tupelo, Pontotoc, Holly Springs, New Albany, and more. Roby and Susan Allen are dedicated to helping Oxford and all of North Mississippi with their windows, gutters, and everything in between. So call Window Hero at 662-510-7077 to get an estimate or learn more at windowhero.com. Ole Miss grads Hunter and Mimi Simpson formed Southern Q Sauce Craft Barbecue Sauce. Southern Q Sauce is crafted by hand in small batches to capture that tangy, sweet, and smoky taste with just enough heat. The original recipe features the deep South flavors of apple cider vinegar, sweet brown sugar, tomato, and hickory. It's a blend of Tennessee, Mississippi, and the Carolinas with a sweet, smoky finish. Southern Q Sauce also has a variety of rubs from Old Faithful to Old Smoky, Honey Pecan, the Clucker, and the Longhorn. Whether you're a professional pitmaster or an occasional backyard chef, Southern Q Sauce has the sauces and rubs to have your friends and family coming back for more. So check it out for yourself. Go to southernqsauce.com. Use the discount code REBELGROVE for 15% off your order. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what he can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. They've got tons of different options for you, everything from soy ginger, the most recent option. They've got the New Orleans style barbecue. That's their best seller. Signature, one of my favorites, is a kind of a garlic flavor that is a great all-purpose one, whether you're making salads, protein snacks, or taking care of dinner on these busy school nights. Prime Shrimp can help you out. They deliver directly to your door. You're within 10 minutes, freezer to plate. We're going to make it a little easier on you, a little cheaper on you. Buy 5 pouches or more. Use code RG, and you get 25% off. So whether that's a sampler, a little bit of everything, or some of your favorites, again, code RG at primeshrimp.com. BlueSky.com. So I guess that was really all from Lane yesterday. As much as we want to make fun of the Coke, that was the only thing that necessarily stuck to my thought processes as we were talking this morning. So,
all right, your bet here. Do we get a? Because I don't care. Fans kind of care. I think most of our fans, most of our people who subscribe to us, not fans of us. We have fans, but you know what I mean.
Well, you have groupies, but it's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean they're out in the front right now. I always thought if I had groupies, they'd be female, but nope,
not so much.
Not so much. You know what you envision when you're 16. Not really comes true.
You playing God laughs. I mean, hey, here we go.
There you go. Yeah, no question. I don't know. You think we get an actual depth chart, or does Ole Miss punt on that on Monday? They're not required to give you one on Monday. They typically do.
I think that's one of those deals where you do it because you always do it, but it is going to be filled with so many ors that.
Oh yeah, it's going to be laughable.
I think every position is going to have an or almost on it.
Yeah.
It is the depth chart that has 2244. It has 68 names or something.
Yeah, it's going to be laughable.
If you're a scholarship player, you're on the depth chart. I think that's a fair one.
Especially with the twos, the depth chart's going to be ridiculous. Like they might name a starter, but like the backup's going to have 3-4 names.
Luke asking where your interns are for Neal's picks this year.
We're working on some different things. We're having some visa issues right now.
Probably we actually through MPW a couple things. We have a couple interns that are going to be doing some stuff this fall. I probably need to warn them they are not mentioned in Neal's picks in case anything is said on that.
Probably so.
Yeah, I don't know who one of them is yet, but either way, yeah, that's the deal there.
And more importantly, that she tells her parents that yes.
Yeah.
Don't need that at the front door.
Yeah. You don't need Tony and Linda calling over whatever it is, do you?
No.
Okay. So Heather Dinich, interesting ESPN story here. And I thought it was, I guess, perception based is what I find interesting. Because, look, we keep talking about these college football playoff predictors. And other than the fact that Ole Miss is very highly regarded, they don't mean jack shit. But
yes,
it's August 20th, and I need something to fill some content for the next 11 days.
I'm not bitching at you.
Yeah. So, but I did find this fairly fascinating, is that a couple different things. 12-team playoff. Again, she follows all the blah, 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 blah. She points out that Kirby Smart told ESPN last month it would be awesome to get 4 teams from the SEC into the field. That's kind of what Kirby was thinking the goal would be, where they don't get hit with only 3. If you have a crazy year where you get 5, awesome, but thought 4 was the settle point here for this thing.
Yeah, I'm just in such a minority on this, but go ahead.
He goes on to say, I think that would be shooting the moon, and 3 is more realistic. I just have a hard time getting 3 to work math-wise. That doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Kirby must think that everyone's going to beat each other up to the point that there's going to be 3 lost teams.
Because you do the quick math, and the guarantees outside of you is a group of 5 team, and then the 2 champions from the 2 other conferences. So that's only 3. You got 9 left. I think that one of those 2 conferences at least get 2. That leaves 8. So that would still leave 4 for each of the other conferences.
Yeah, I kind of think they might both get 2, but that still leaves 3, and I think you
think 4 from the SEC, 3 from the Big Ten in that argument.
Do.
There could be the year where you have 7 available and they just kind of flip-flop who gets that 4th, I guess. But that's the thought process.
I guess I just look at the SEC schools that we're talking about to get the 10 wins. If Georgia gets the 10 wins, they're getting in because of their schedule. Same for Texas. Same for Alabama. Same for Ole Miss. I mean, you can argue Missouri at 10-2 could have the wrong 10-2. Texas A&M at 10-2 is getting in. Oklahoma at 10-2 is getting in with that schedule. Then Tennessee at 10-2 would get in because of their schedule. They would just have quality wins. I don't know. And listen, again, I'm quickly learning that I'm the minority on this. I think 5 is more realistic than 3.
So Matt Rule, obviously doing his stump speech for the Big Ten, says in the Big Ten we have to go to someone else's stadium in our league 5 times and duke it out. I think we'll have a lot of access to the college football playoff. I think 4 teams from this league should get in every year because this is the best league. It's the NFL of college football in my mind. Again, Matt Rule of Nebraska. Fine.
I have no problem with it. You're the Nebraska coach. You should talk up the Big
you should
Ten.
stump for your program.
I mean, yeah.
He needs 5 spots if they even have a sack chance in hell at some point of getting in.
Realistically,
so that's fine.
Yeah, I have no issue with that.
And they're going to, ESPN's going to update this every single week because it's easy content that gets idiots like us talking about it and tons of fans around the country reading it.
Lots of clicks.
It makes all the sense in the world.
It's great clickbait.
Yes. There's a reason D1Baseball.com does, hey, field of 64 in February.
Of course.
64 teams click on it and start setting up the damn matchups.
Yep.
It's human nature. We love brackets.
Yep.
She has Georgia the 1, Ohio State is the 2, Florida State is the 3, Utah is the 4. That's pretty much the consensus for the most part outside of.
And if it's not Florida State and Utah, it's going to be somebody.
Miami and it's Oklahoma State or what the hell ever.
Right, it's fine, whatever.
So then matchups, these on-campus first-round matchups. She has Boise State getting the group of 5 as a 12, playing Texas, the 5 seed. Again, a lot of up and down on Texas.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. That's not the point I'm getting to in a second.
Okay.
As an Alabama Ole Miss matchup in Oxford in the first round.
You know what? I would go into this. I would set up a side business. I really would. I would set up a side. I would just like sell antacids
for that one.
Just barely off campus at some kiosk.
She is setting this up to prove the point that rematches do not matter at any point in the tournament because Alabama or Ole Miss would be facing Georgia next in this scenario, and they both would have played Georgia this season. So
NFL doesn't give a damn about rematches.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Is the point. Penn State, Oregon in the first round.
Okay.
They're in Eugene. And then Miami, Notre Dame, she sets that up to make a point that even if Notre Dame goes undefeated, the best they can do is the 5 seed because they can't be a conference champion. So Notre Dame in no world can get a bye. They have to play the first round of the playoff here. Also, rematch is possible there because Florida State can end up blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
I just sold 20 of my antacids right there to Austin.
Is he frustrated by this one?
Well, no, he would be.
Oh, he'll take 20.
He would be very nervous about the Alabama-Ole Miss game in Oxford.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah, I would just be like,
but
antacids $100. I think I just
first 4
price gouge this, boys.
This is why I find it interesting. She does a first 4 out. I guess they'll do a first 4 out every single time.
Yes.
She's setting up a format here.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, Missouri, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. She has 4 SEC teams, the first 4 out, after 4 SEC teams getting into the field with Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Georgia.
Well, look, I'm kind of with Heather here.
And she predicts what's going to happen to get here. So she says LSU, the Tigers will finish number 12 in the selection committee's ranking on selection day, but because the 5 highest ranked champions earn a spot in the bracket, LSU gets bumped in favor of Boise State. The Tigers will finish with 3 losses, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Alabama, and just miss the cut. God, they will be pissed off in Baton Rouge in this scenario, and they have a right to be because of this dumbass group of 5 team.
Yes.
Team. Missouri will lose to Alabama and Oklahoma, raising questions about its strength of schedule in the committee meeting room. A 10-2 finish isn't an unreasonable expectation, but the committee will still put strength of schedule under the microscope. If Missouri finishes with a better record than LSU, they could be flip-flopped here, but either way, they both miss the cut. She thinks Missouri's strength of schedule is a problem against these other teams.
And okay, but that kind of pisses me off for Missouri already because they didn't make their conference schedule.
They did not. But I mean, it's a similar. They essentially have one less on paper big game than Ole Miss, which is why they're in this conversation and Ole Miss isn't, for getting benefit of the doubt. Missouri has 2 big games, and frankly, they got to go 1-2. Ole Miss has 3 big games, and they can go 1-2 and be okay as long as you don't lose to somebody.
You meant
else.
Missouri's got to go 2-1. You said 1-2.
No, I mean 1-1. They have only 2 games that really have any significance, so you got to win at least one of them. Whereas Ole Miss has 3, and you could go 1-2. Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Missouri's difficulty level is a little higher because they probably have to go 11-1.
Instead, it would be like Missouri going, so we're getting punished for a rainout.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it's total horseshit. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
You're good. The Vols will show Tennessee. The Vols will show improvement from a year ago, but they'll be stuck in the bubble because of road losses to Oklahoma and Georgia and a possible home loss to Alabama. The question remains the secondary, which struggled last season and is under construction this year. And then Oklahoma, the Sooners will be better in Brett Venables' 3rd season, particularly on defense, but it won't be reflected in their record because of a challenging first season in the SEC. OU has to replace all 5 starters on the offensive line, and they could have 3 or 4 road losses with trips to Auburn, Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU.
So she's got Oklahoma as a 9-3, 8-4 team, but still
correct.
a top 16 team.
Correct.
Okay.
Has them basically finishing 15th in the final rankings. So 9-3.
Okay.
Next 4 out: Michigan, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Clemson. Okay. And if anybody would like just a little bit of a group of 5 power ranking, she has that too. It's Boise State 1, UTSA 2, App State 3, Liberty 4, Miami, Ohio 5.
Okay. Avery says I could sell Xanax on the side. Probably start getting into
You
some.
could just set up a tent.
You start getting into some legalities on the Xanax.
Some legalities. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I could go to jail for selling antacid. Probably the Xanax thing could
feel a little problematic.
That feels like that could lead to a problem. We have some OPD people who listen. If you guys think that would be a big problem,
let us know.
Let us
Let us ahead of time know that could be a.
Let's get preventative here.
You probably can't.
On the flip side, I mean,
well, you definitely could set it up now. Oh boy.
Austin says, off topic, but why does ESPN do such a bad job covering college football? It's the second highest viewed sport in the country, but if you listen to them talking about college football on First Take, it makes you lose brain cells. I would criticize you, Austin, for listening to First Take. No offense. Thank you.
Grind, if you're right, we really are having a mess. He thinks Boise and Liberty get in.
How?
One of them would have to get in as an at-large.
No way.
They have to finish in the top 11.
No chance.
No chance on purpose, because simply
the TV
no one
people
would allow it.
Well, the TV people would say absolutely not.
Yes. You will rank Oklahoma ahead of Boise State.
Well, I mean, of course. And I think the TV people, after one of these years where you could have had LSU or Oklahoma and instead you end up with Boise, the TV people are going, this is bullshit. Pardon my language. This is bullshit. Not doing this anymore. You want...
Yeah, under this scenario, you ended up Texas and Boise instead of Texas and LSU.
I mean, come on.
In Austin.
I can have LSU and Texas 4 nights before Christmas.
Yeah.
In Austin.
Uh-huh.
And instead I get Boise State.
Yeah, where Texas beats them 41-10.
I don't care if Texas beats them 41-39. I can hype LSU, Texas. I can hype Tennessee, Texas.
Yeah.
I can hype Oklahoma, Texas. Holy, can you imagine Oklahoma, Texas in a playoff game?
Yeah.
And I get Boise?
Yeah.
No. Or I could have Ole Miss, Texas.
Uh-huh.
I could have Alabama, Texas. I could have any of these wild Penn State, Texas. I could have Michigan, Texas. I could have, who was the other team you said you had all these? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I can have any of those teams. 4 nights before Christmas, people are kind of starting to be off. The tree's up. They got the bourbon pouring.
I've told you this. It's some of the best days of the year where you're in a good mood and you just want to flip the football on.
And my guy in Dubuque, he can have LSU, Texas, Alabama, Texas, and instead he gets Boise, Texas. That's where you might go, yeah, you know what? Let's go to the stupid Christmas party. I didn't really want to go to this one. I hate those people, but okay. I'll miss the Boise game. No one's missing. I mean, can you imagine? Seriously, Oklahoma and Texas on December the 21st in Austin. Oklahoma, Texas. They normally play at Cotton Bowl. Now they're playing in Austin in a playoff game. Can you imagine?
Oh, you're pouring the liquor and sitting down.
I mean, you're watching that.
Yeah.
People all over are like, sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing like a little Christmas hate.
Brett McMurphy coming out with his version of this yesterday too. I found his other bowls kind of interesting. He did a full preseason breakdown.
All right. Sign me up.
Just a couple that I guess we'll look at all of them. But off the top of my head, while I'm pulling up the other ones,
I mean, not to belabor this point. This group of 5 thing, y'all, is stupid. I don't know why. How did this happen? Is that fairness thing? Everybody gets a medal. Is that where we're going with this? Because this is a simple fix. Let them have their own tournament. You get other football. On the 19th, instead of, while people are waiting for the games on the 20th and 21st, play 4 group of 5 quarterfinal games.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what? As crazy as it is, I'm more likely to watch Boise play Liberty in a playoff game than I am to watch
you
Boise
are, because
play Texas.
it has some stakes that are actually to be determined. The other's not is known.
Yeah. Give me Miami of Ohio versus South Alabama in a playoff game. Sure, okay. I mean, yeah. Why not?
Again, they do this around Christmas anyway, and we all sit down and watch when James Madison plays Sam. And I get their D1 now, but back in the day, James Madison, Sam Houston State, and you go, okay.
Well, because they're playing for a championship.
Yeah. When Delta State plays Northwest Missouri, you go, okay.
Yeah.
D2 title.
If you're smart about it, you put it up when it's not going up against something.
We'll flip it on.
Yeah,
We've all sat there and watched Mountain Union beat the hell out of somebody in D3.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
And they celebrate like they won the Super Bowl. And I have no problem with that. Like, I'm not criticizing that.
No.
Go have a party.
I enjoy watching North Dakota State play South Dakota in a playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
The Jackrabbits and the Bison and the whole deal.
This is dumb.
See North Dakota State, a +7 underdog against Colorado in the opener. Go Bison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Southern Miss. Southern Miss has no chance to ever win a playoff game. But maybe they could win a division, group of 5 playoff game.
Yeah.
And that'd be pretty cool, right? If I don't know, who Eastern Michigan came down to Hattiesburg to play a quarterfinal game, you might get 25,000 people in the stadium.
Oh, you would. Yeah.
You know, put it on ESPN2 the 19th.
It's cool. Palate cleanser, get you started.
Oh, a lot of people would watch. Yeah, why not? All right, I hijacked your.
No, you're
thing.
good.
I'm sorry. It really bugs me.
I mean, I'm not going over all these because there's like 128 bowl games, but bowl season does kick off, just for people's planning purposes, on December 14th with the Camellia Bowl. They're in Montgomery, Alabama. That kicks off our bowl season, baby.
Sure.
The Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns and the Jacksonville State Gamecocks taking part in that opener there in Montgomery. That puts the asses in the seats right there, boy. Georgia Southern, WKU, and the Frisco Bowl on the 17th. So we got 2 days off before we get back to bowl action here. FAU playing at home in the Boca Raton Bowl. Let's see. Gronk now hosts the LA Bowl, by the way, not Jimmy Kimmel. So Oregon State, UNLV in that bad boy this year.
Okay.
App State and Liberty is a really good New Orleans Bowl on December 19th.
Sure.
It is.
Okay.
It's a good game.
It's fine.
But it has no stakes, as you're saying. If that was
Right.
a playoff game,
Right.
suddenly that is a It's like the perfect. That's the perfect bowl game for the Group of 5 playoff game too.
Yes.
Put that bitch in the Superdome and play it.
Yes.
It's fine.
People would watch if it had stakes.
The RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl is a perfect spot for that.
Yes.
James Madison and Toledo. We even got lines on these damn games.
Sure.
Whatever. We bet on anything. It's fine. Let's send it and pay it out.
Not betting on that, but go ahead.
Troy UAB. I'm just looking for SEC teams now because I'm not talking about an Arkansas State Western Michigan preseason bowl game. They got Kentucky in the Liberty Bowl. That'd be a fall for them. That would not be a positive season.
6 or 7 wins, probably.
Yeah, a 1-point underdog to UCF in the Liberty Bowl is what they got setting up here on the Action Network. This would be a disappointment. Mark, if you're in the thread, you need to turn away. Tennessee -2 against Arizona in the Las Vegas Bowl.
Ooh.
That would be a blow to the Vols this year if Brett McMurphy is correct in his prognostication of Tennessee.
That'd be tough.
That's one.
That's a tough bill.
Oh my God, at the opt-outs.
Oh.
They had a hard time filling the Vegas Bowl when you went.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons Florida went was they actually might show up with players.
They were there.
In spirit.
Well, physically.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they were there in spirit.
Memphis headed to the Fenway Bowl. Holiday Bowl, Notre Dame, Washington. That would be a huge blow to Notre Dame because they have playoff aspirations here. That would actually be a good season for Washington because they're kind of down the Big Ten a little bit on where people are projecting them at this point. Let's see. Clemson, Oklahoma State, and the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Be a failure for both of them in Orlando.
I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, in the previous system, you could talk yourself into, it's okay. Now it's like this is punishment.
Military Bowl, SMU, South Florida. So neither one of them getting that Group of 5 bid. South Florida's kind of trendy with some people right now.
South Florida could probably get excited for that. SMU would have a hard time.
Kansas State, USC, and the Alamo Bowl.
Oof. Opt-out city, boy.
The ReliaQuest Bowl, the Michigan Wolverines, and the Missouri Tigers.
The ReliaQuest. That's the old
That's
Outback.
Yes.
Be disappointment for Missouri.
Yeah. Michigan early -6 favorite, by the way, over Missouri in that game.
Missouri would have some opt-outs. Luther Burden's not playing in that game.
Music City Bowl, Texas A&M, Wisconsin.
Okay.
That feels okay.
Okay.
I'm Tax Slayer, Auburn, and Florida State. Florida State, not in
Oh.
McMurphy's top 12.
Okay.
Gator Bowl there for the Seminoles.
Be a possible steal opportunity for Auburn because Florida State would have
More
some.
on what you think is possible here. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, speaking of them, they're in the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl playing the Texas Longhorns in Brett's predictions.
I'm out on Texas after some of the stuff I've read.
Yeah, he has.
It's like I do like to give myself the ability to change my mind after reading some preseason stuff from practices, not from summer. Everybody wins the summer.
Yeah, sure. And then your other non-playoff bowl games that he has projected here, no other SEC teams. It has Bahamas Bowl, Mayo Bowl, and First Responder Bowl, Illinois, Coastal Carolina, Louisville, Minnesota, and Northern Illinois, South Alabama. So
that's a banger.
The Jags get to go to the Bahamas, though.
That's good for them.
So that's a win.
Yeah.
I'll get into Brett's playoff stuff in a second. Before we do that, take a quick little break and tell you that Brett Young is performing at the SJB Pavilion on August 31st, along with the Mustache the Band, Josh Kelly joining as well. Friend of the pod, Josh Kelly. Call the Ole Miss ticket office. Visit it online to get your tickets today. The same day will be the 2024 men's and women's basketball season ticket and donation renewal deadline. If you want to get your priority points up for seat or parking selections, call the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation at 662-915-7159. And then for further information, that's give2athletics.com.
Brought to you by Grenada Home Center. They've got paints by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paint, Farrell Calhoun, flooring of any and all types, stone countertops, whether you're looking for granite, quartz, or anything else. Window treatments from plantation shutters to whatever else suits your fancy. They've got it at Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive, Suite H in Grenada. So call them at 662-226-3127. Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. Arnett's offers expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, genuine color stones, diamond jewelry, and more super gifts for many occasions, such as birthdays, graduation, and anniversary gifts. They've got flexible bangles, diamond pendants, and earrings. Guys, if your wife is expecting a baby, Arnett's can help you find that perfect push present. They can also help you find an awesome gift for Christmas, which is right around the corner. So at Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler. The College Corner is wide open, ready for your business as you start getting ready for the football season. Ole Miss at home here in less than 2 weeks. Stop by the Oxford location, right off the Oxford Commons, right in the Oxford Commons, right off Sisk Avenue, I should say. More than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. They'll have you in and out and ready for the Grove in no time. Leave a tip. That tip goes to the Grove Collective and gets you signed up for a Jackson Dart autographed Grove Collective football as well. Also have 2 locations in Jackson and online at collegecornerstore.com. Blue Sky Live is presented in part by Wonderbird Spirits, Mississippi's only gin distillery. Wonderbird Spirits is located on Old Taylor Road between Oxford and Taylor, just minutes from the square. Wonderbird boasts a newly expanded 7,500 square foot state-of-the-art distillery operation on 20 acres of magnificent Mississippi farmland. Rentals for football game weekends have just gone on sale. They're very limited. Wonderbird can accommodate private parties of various sizes, and they offer a tasting room, grounds, bathrooms, I should say, and a catering room on site as part of their packages. Wonderbird Spirits is a previous overall winner of Garden and Gun magazine's Made in the South Awards. They own multiple gold medals for their gins. Learn more at wonderbirdspirits.com or follow them on Instagram at wonderbirdspirits. For inquiries, please email info@wonderbirdspirits.com or call 662-205-0779. We're also brought to you by Argent Wealth, formerly Pinnacle Wealth. Argent is based in Ridgeland, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Argent, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Argent will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's myargentwealth.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. They got a couple of different packages for you: the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze. That's the 1 gig option, their fastest option available. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's NESpark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, remote controls, network security, wireless mesh extender for those who need the extra help, and more. So again, that is 662-238-3159. So back to Brett McMurphy's teams remaining. You can kind of figure out who's going to make the playoffs because we didn't mention them in the other part of this thing. He has first round games setting up. Let's see. He's got let's see. What are the rankings of these teams? He got Penn State in a game against LSU in the first round.
Okay,
LSU,
so you got
Penn
the Tigers
State
making
in
it.
Baton Rouge and hosting.
Oh,
Has LSU as the number 8 seed in the bracket, playing 9 seed Penn State in the first round.
So where Matt Moscona had to pour some cold water on some LSU fans that are like, top playoff should be an annual thing. And this is why I always push back when people go, Moscona's just a hardcore homer. There's a difference between being a fan and a homer. He's a fan. He'll admit he's a fan. But he's like, look, if this system had been in place over the last 12 years, LSU would have made it twice.
Oh, really? Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, 19, they would have won the whole damn thing because they.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, they would have won the NFC South that year. But it's like one other year they would have made it. I mean, they've had a lot of like 14th, 15th, 16th type finishes.
Ole Miss would have made it in 23, 21, and 15.
I think that's right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Because I don't think 14 would have.
Making the playoff is going to be difficult.
Yeah. Now, what's weird was that if you want a season where you go, oh, hell broke loose, go look at the final rankings in 14, because Ole Miss was the 3rd SEC team and wouldn't have made the playoffs. The SEC would have gotten 2 that year. Now, I'm not including wherever Texas and Oklahoma were because I don't know of those current
That was the year
SEC
that Treadwell
teams.
got hurt and they fell apart down the end, kind of.
Yeah, because they ended up ahead of Florida in the final rankings to get them into the Peach Bowl. But they were ranked behind Mississippi State and Alabama, I guess.
Okay.
Whoever won it.
Yeah. I can't remember that.
I think I'm right here. Maybe I'm wrong, but whatever. It's fine. We'll just go with it, and somebody can prove me wrong. All right. First round game, Texas State at Ohio State. So you got this group of 5 thing here. You've got Ohio State hosting Texas State.
I mean, seriously, are you watching that? I mean, no, I'm totally be serious for a minute. Are you watching that? I mean, really?
Because
now, if I call you in the early part of the fourth quarter, you won't believe this, man. The Bobcats are up 7. You're like, oh, I can't get to a TV fast enough.
But that has to.
But if you look up in the second quarter and it's 21-3, you're like, okay, yeah, I'll go.
The hypothetical line.
I'll go rake the yard.
The hypothetical line on this game is 27 points.
Okay, that's my
27.
This bugs me. Can you tell how much this bugs me? This should not be a thing. The playoffs should not be. This is not time to hand out a popsicle. Because there's a place for that. Like when the little league kids play and they're 6, 7, 8 years old. Yeah, that's fine. Give everybody a post game bubble gum, ice cream, whatever. This is bigger stakes. This should not be the case. Texas State as a 27-point dog should not get a spot in a playoff.
Because the way I'm reading the way he has the schedules for the bowl games lined up, if you will, that's Texas State instead of Texas or Michigan. You could have an Ohio State, Michigan.
I mean,
first round game.
Who wouldn't watch it?
Yeah.
Or Ohio State, Texas?
Yeah.
Texas going to Columbus to play a first round playoff game? Yeah, I'm watching. I mean, like, that's appointment television.
Yeah.
You don't miss that. Texas State, and they go at 11 o'clock. I mean, come on. Are you pushing back when someone goes, hey, we really got this Christmas thing we ought to go to. It's for the kids. It's going to be – I know you don't like the guy, but come on, we need to do this.
And, hey, when the real games are, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll be back in time for the game at 3.
Yeah, Penn State, LSU. We're cool for that. Go ahead. Yeah.
So let's go to the thing. It's at Square Books Junior. It's going to be a nightmare, but let's just do
You
it.
can even set up some alerts on your phone, and Texas State goes crazy. Awesome.
Yeah, you can slip out and go over to Larry's and watch it on TV,
Yeah.
but come on, let's go.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Fine. Yeah, I know. First round playoff game, Iowa and Georgia. Iowa.
I mean, okay.
In Athens.
I mean, it's going to be a blowout, but okay. At least it's Big
By
10.
blowout, you mean 24-3?
Yeah.
21-0.
But Iowa's in the Big 10. If you get to the playoff out of the Big 10, you probably kind of earned it.
And then December 21st, first round playoff game in Oxford, Mississippi against the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Oh. So Ole Miss is what, the 6?
Ole Miss is the 7 and Virginia Tech's the 10 in this scenario. Georgia is the 6, playing Iowa the 11 in this scenario.
Oh, so he's big on Bama.
He's big on Bama.
Okay.
He's got the Fiesta Bowl, a quarterfinal game, the Utah Utes and the Ohio State Buckeyes advancing from their game.
I mean, I'd watch.
And the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, he has the Alabama Crimson Tide, a -5 favorite against the Ole Miss Rebels in Atlanta.
Boy, there's not enough alcohol in that city. I mean,
in a quarter.
Whew. I mean, if you're a bar manager, it's like you're calling the supplier and just going, we need more.
Yeah. Whatever more is.
How much more? How much you got?
Yeah.
Anything in particular? Not really.
Does it have an alcohol content? Yes. Okay.
Just send it. We'll figure it out.
The Rose Bowl, Oregon and Penn State. Penn State advancing against LSU to play Oregon.
And
then Georgia beating Iowa and then advancing to the Sugar Bowl to face the Miami Hurricanes, who he has as the ACC champion.
I'd watch.
Oh, you're in.
But I'm not watching Texas State. That's a giveaway. And if I'm the TV people, why am I giving away a spot?
And then just finishing his bracket for whatever it matters, even though it doesn't at this point.
I'll stop beating the drum.
Alabama and Georgia in a semi in the Orange Bowl.
Okay.
Has Georgia a 5.5-point favorite against Bama. Ohio State 1.5 points over Oregon in the Cotton Bowl for a semifinal. And then he has Oregon and Georgia in the national championship game.
Ooh.
Georgia -4 in Atlanta.
Dan Lanning going against his future employer.
Oh, there you go. He has Ole Miss, by the way, a 13-point favorite against Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
In that scenario.
Be a big win in Oxford. Be a big day in Oxford.
It would. It's true.
And look, at the end of if his world, I mean, you lose on New Year's Day in Atlanta to Alabama.
You had a good year.
You had a hell of a year.
Yeah. Go get the Grove Collective to start funding and try to rebuild it and go from there. That's your goal at that point.
Sammy wants us to do a deep dive on unnecessary roughness instead of love of the game.
I like that game. I like that movie.
We could do that. I like that movie.
Kathy Ireland.
Yeah.
Scott Bakula. Sinbad.
Yeah.
It's got a cast, guy. Actually, when you go through it, like
Kathy Ireland. Man, she had.
And that was kind of in her fastball days.
Yeah, she had her moment in the sun.
The kicker.
Yeah. The shower scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman in that movie.
Is that right?
He is. Yes. That is correct. I mean, they have Kathy Ireland listed as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th lead in this movie, but we named her quite higher than that.
She wasn't 10th in my book.
Rob Schneider in that movie. I mean, it's a cast now. The Texas State Fighting Armadillos.
Kathy Ireland was like on the cover when my high school days. So,
yeah,
she certainly had my attention.
That's your days.
She had my attention.
Yeah. Now we can do Necessary Roughness. It's a good one. Did you see where it's preseason, which doesn't change anything, but the early returns on the kickoff thing have been very positive for the NFL.
Really?
They're very happy about it.
Okay.
You seen that?
I did not. I have not watched a lot of preseason, but every time I look at it, I'm
the
like,
kickoff return rate through 2 weeks of the preseason, and they say in this athletic story like 9 times. Remember, sample size here, way small. Through 2 weeks, the return rate is at 78%. That's up from 21.8% during the regular season
last year.
You're adding a play.
Mm-hmm.
What is more interesting. Now, they do say this. Last year in the preseason, the return rate was 54%. So still a huge increase, but teams purposefully do this to try to look at things and look at returns and do things differently than the regular season in some ways. The average kickoff return in the preseason has been 25 yards, up from 23 last season. And then there have been 39 kickoff returns of at least 30 yards this preseason through 2 weeks. There were only 97 such returns all of last regular season. So you're getting more explosive returns in theory as well at this point. True or not, I don't know. We'll see. And then the average starting position in the preseason is the 28.1 yard line. It was 25.2 last year during the regular season. So offense is up 3 yards at this point. Now, what no one knows.
Yeah, Austin got Kathy Ireland and Kathy Griffin confused.
Oh, not the same human.
Not even. No. Just no.
They are both humans. That's where that stops.
It stops there.
What people don't know is that when they get to, even though the ball goes to the 30, when they get to the regular season, if teams are still going to kick it off and go, you know what, we're not going to chance this, we're still just going to kick it to the end zone. And we'll just give you the 5 extra yards and call it a day. To remove the chance of an explosive play.
You can't give up kickoff returns for touchdowns.
That will get you beat in the NFL.
That'll get you beat in the NFL.
Yeah. So the touchback rate in the preseason is only 19%. It was 73% in the regular season last year. So just a little FYI there.
Okay.
Did you see this crazy stat? Looking for it here. About the makeup MLB game where for the first time ever, a player is going to play for both teams in the same at-bat. Have you seen this?
Someone said something about this, and I was not particularly following along.
Okay, so I'll try to explain it for people. By the way, Mississippi native Austin Riley fractured his hand on Sunday, and now he's out too for the Braves.
The Braves. It's just that
it's not that year.
It's that year.
As good as the World Series year was to them, it has been the exact opposite. And sometimes that just damn happens. It's kind of the point in the whole conversation we're having is some team that we keep putting in this playoff is just going to have that year from hell where it just goes.
They are.
Nothing we can do.
And some team's going to have a magic year.
Can't help that either. The Blackhawks Winter Classic throwback jersey is fantastic, by the way, for this.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. They are playing the Blues at Wrigley Field for the Winter Classic this year.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's the here. Let me see if I can just get it to you quickly while I'm about to read you what happened here.
I don't have a hockey sweater or jersey or whatever we call it, but
yeah, I was going to call
always low key want one.
I think I might get this one, honestly. I mean, I'm a weird, like, very casual Blackhawks fan.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
That's really good.
That's terrific.
That's excellent, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
You can see it from Icethetics is the Twitter account. ICETHETICS is the elite site for this.
Oh, that's elite.
So they are wearing that in the Winter Classic this year. It is happening December 31st instead of New Year's Day to not competing against the college football playoffs. And then they're doing some college hockey games at Wrigley on the same ice the days following this as well.
Yeah.
It's already down, so might as well use it. So, okay, here we go. This might be one of the crazier things from a straight just stats thing you'll ever see. So, Danny Jansen is the player.
Okay.
Jansen was playing catcher for the Blue Jays in a June 26th game against the Red Sox when weather intervened and forced a postponement.
Okay.
Teams are scheduled to resume the game next Monday. So, okay, they're going to finish the game next Monday. Here's the catch. Since then, Toronto has traded Jansen to Boston.
Oh.
Yeah. So if Jansen plays in the game, he'll become the first major leaguer to ever play for both teams in one game. How would it work? Well, Toronto will need to officially pull Jansen from the game, and then the chances are high the Sox are going to have him playing catcher. So to recap, Jansen would technically change teams in the middle of an at-bat and switch from hitter to catcher in the at-bat. Because he was hitting for the Blue Jays when the postponement happened, and he will be catching for the Red Sox when he comes back.
That's awesome. So he's guaranteed a win and a loss.
Yeah, some official score somewhere's going.
Yeah.
I don't.
You know, there's somebody who's like
in charge of that.
and who's kind of anal about all that stuff. Who's like losing his mind.
Going. This doesn't fit my scorebook.
I have no
because somebody's had a perfect scorebook for like 40 years, and this is coming and goes.
I don't know what to do. That's wild.
Yeah. Phillies Braves tonight at 6:20. If you'd like to just watch something there.
I will say this:
it's a good baseball doubleheader actually tonight. Phillies Braves and Mariners Dodgers.
It was my first time to go to the Battery. The Braves were out of town, but we went to the Battery area. They did a phenomenal job with that.
Oh, it's good.
It's really, really nice.
Mm-hmm. It's very good.
I mean, kudos. That was brilliant.
You can wander around. It's
really nice.
It's low key.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, the difference, I'll answer this, is HSC Golfer goes also, where's the hatred about all the terrible basketball teams with no chance to win the basketball championship? Because we have 68, not 12.
Yeah.
Everybody with even a pulse has a chance to get in.
And the teams that get left out of the basketball tournament, like they're SEC teams that lost 9 league games.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, but you never watched that team and went, oh, they're really good. That would be fun to watch. It's a totally different deal. It's not apples to apples.
And then Jaden Daniels has been announced as Washington's starting quarterback. So Williams, Daniels, and Nix, it looks like, will be the day one starters in the NFL from this past draft class.
Well, they were talking to Joe Burrow about this because the Bengals played the Bears, and Burrow was talking about how he thinks it was a huge benefit for his career that he was basically just named the starter when he was drafted. He goes, it's not that I was great, it's that I got all of those reps. Because we didn't go through the song and dance of waiting 5 weeks for me to get the starter reps where you basically lose an offseason.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the Bears are doing the right thing by just going with Caleb because he's going to get reps. He's going to make mistakes.
But he's going to get reps.
But he's going to get reps that are going to help you eventually.
Yeah, your window isn't open, so go ahead.
Right, so learn.
Yeah. We'll take our final break, come back, keep talking. Before we do that, tell you about G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer medicine for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. They also transfer your medications very, very easily. One phone call, they take care of the rest. So whether you're in Holly Springs with Tyson Drugs or Oxford with G&M, that's 662-236-2222.
Brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. Listen, if you're thinking about a special trip that you want to create a lifetime of unique memories, you kind of owe it to yourself to get in touch with John. Give him some parameters, give him a budget, and then let him give you some options that you're just not going to find on your own. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, a diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. It's Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. And I'll have a mailbag to you on Wednesday at rebelgrove.com. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's International Realty and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email him at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
when you were home from school or anything like that? Did you a Phil Donahue guy? He passes away at 88 yesterday. Did you ever take in
Yeah, I watched
that talk show?
I watched Phil Donahue some.
One of the first talk show hosts to kind of let the audience ask the questions and give the comments and involve them. And
88 years old. Had a hell of a career.
Born in Cleveland. Cleveland guy. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was looking at pictures of him because
So
I was
he had the
trying
audacity to leave Ohio.
That's good. That's good. I was trying to
if you're born in Cleveland, you got to stay in Cleveland.
I was trying to decide like what my picture of him was. Like I was going through a lot of his images going, okay, what is the image of him that I kind of have in my head? Like, cause I knew the gray hair and the whole deal, but I had a kind of hard time going, that's what he looks like. He didn't stick in my head the way a lot of other talk show hosts from that time period did, even though my grandmother did watch him. So I'd catch it when I was staying with her over the years. She watched a lot of talk shows. I caught a lot of even Jerry Springer and whatnot as the days went on.
Another Ohio guy.
Oh, is
Springer,
that right?
Yeah, he was former mayor of Cincinnati.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. WKRP in Cincinnati is one of the kind of forgotten shows. It's really funny and good.
That's a good show.
And it doesn't get the same respect on the...
Just such a different era of television.
Oh.
Just kind of a golden era of television.
In 1996, Donahue was ranked number 42 on TV Guide's 50 greatest TV stars of all time.
Oh. Yeah.
42. Hard to argue there. Notre Dame grad, Phil Donahue.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Years active, 1957 to 2024. Although, what was he doing now?
He's 88.
Well, it says he was active. What was he doing?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I guess it's true, but I don't know. His final original episode of Donahue aired September 13th, 1996. He did 26 years in syndication, 29-year run, and 7,000 one-hour daily shows.
Some serious show prep there.
His Wikipedia page has a pretty cool picture of him with Johnny Carson from 1970. So back in the day there. Because Carson would be your Tonight Show guy, right? Or is it Leno?
Yeah, I remember Carson, certainly. Then Leno was probably more when I was able to stay up and watch.
Leno or Letterman?
Letterman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure.
What was it about him? Why?
Just liked him better. Thought he was funnier. Enjoyed his shows.
I've never been a big show like that because I don't stay up.
Yeah.
I would have to TiVo it. For a period of time when Saturday Night Live is the only time I've ever really tried to stay up for a show like
Back
that.
when those shows came on, you didn't have TiVo at your disposal.
That's what I mean. Yeah. 10:30s. Woo. I don't know. Because it came on after the 10 o'clock news, right? Still do, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, the Tonight Show came on after the news, and then Letterman followed Carson. And then Letterman left because he thought he was going to replace Carson. Instead, Leno did.
Right.
And then you had the late night wars. And then Arsenio Hall was involved in that for a while.
It's true. The late night wars, like the books and stuff about that are really interesting.
They had
the business
the
side.
Magic
of what
Johnson
like.
show, which was not magic.
Oh.
It was bad.
Is it rough?
It was bad.
It's the worst talk show host of all time. Who you got?
Ooh. There's a lot of candidates.
Some bad ones.
I'll give you a current one that I think is awful.
Okay.
Laura Ingraham.
Yeah.
On Fox News.
Yeah.
She talks over all of her guests.
Uh-huh. That's the reason why I can't listen to Smartless, the podcast, because the hosts talk over each other and start having their own conversations, and it drives me batch.
Yeah, I've tried. Can't do it.
Even with the guests that I really like, I go, I can't.
Well, there's too many people who are really good interviewers that have podcasts.
Yeah.
That you can listen to. Like I
you can find anything you want now.
Like I listened to Rogan and Adam Sandler on the way over to Atlanta. And it was fine. It wasn't because they really got deep dive into comedy.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't particularly interested in, but I did enjoy Rogan's interview ability.
I didn't know that we were going to go here. I thought it was interesting. So I listened to it. I've only listened to about 45 minutes. It's a 2-hour interview.
Yeah.
So I've only gotten comedy for the most part at this point.
Well, I'm an hour and 20 in, and there's still comedy.
Okay, and I had this thought, and I think I mean this, and I appreciate you guys who listen to all of our programs across NPW Digital, no matter what the topic is, because there's a lot of you to do, and I really do appreciate it. But we have such a benefit of discussing current events or just simply news and a topic that is niche to what our people are listening to for the most part and really caring about. Because with Rogan, he's one of the best interviewers. He's very curious. There's a reason why he has 11, 12 million downloads per episode. I mean, it's incredible compared to all other mediums and what they get. It's the reason Howard Stern is so popular. You can forget about whatever you think about Howard Stern. He is an elite interviewer, maybe one of the best ever.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's phenomenal at interviewing. Listening is a trait. Listening is a gift. Listening is not easy. Rogan has become very guest dependent for me. And I found myself, and it's nothing that he's done. I think it's just over time what happens sometimes. Because I did this with Corolla too. I kind of stopped because I stopped sort of caring what they had to say. And to where I wanted to know who the guest was. I find the guest interesting and then I listen. But like with Sandler, I came across, even in 45 minutes, being quite disappointed because it wasn't the episode I was expecting. And that's what Rogan has done a ton of, and it's incredibly popular. It's not a criticism of Rogan, but I don't find myself being that compelled by the topics that interest him anymore. Right. To where I kind of go, I just don't care.
Well, I was hoping we would talk more about...
Because Sandler's not very good in the first 40 minutes.
No, I was hoping we would talk about Sandler's career more. And instead, we're talking about the modern state of stand-up comedy, which is fascinating to both of them. And I get it. But it's probably like why you and I have to be careful if we start launching into too much journalism. I don't know that the average person really cares. And like, I get it that being a stand-up comic is hard.
Sure.
I understood that. I couldn't do it. The thought of doing it is terrifying. And I know that Rogan is just coming off this deal where he kind of went back and did the Netflix thing or whatever.
So it's really fresh to him right now.
So it's fresh to him right now, and it's very much on his mind because at first he said no to it, and then he's like, no, let's do it. I need to do things that I'm scared of.
Yeah.
Which was interesting, right? And Sandler was like, I couldn't have done it. And I was like, really? You couldn't have done it? You're Adam Sandler, for God's sake. But it feels like the interview's in a rut.
Because Rogan kept mentioning places and people that Sandler agreed with, but you could tell it didn't really have any freaking idea what he was talking about.
Right. Yeah, I did this. I played in this place in New York or whatever. He said, oh, yeah, I did that too. As opposed to, I listened to, look, I was in a car a lot. I had 3 high school boys. They all had their AirPods in. I mean, it's just me. I'm by myself, basically, in the truck. And I listened to Tucker Carlson's podcast with, I wish I could remember her name. The name of the book is Good Energy.
Okay.
It's the woman. She was a Stanford educated ENT surgeon, and she completely got out of it because she felt like she was not actually helping patients. She was just performing surgeries, and so she was doing this really deep dive into what we eat and pharma and all of that. And man, it was fascinating. And Carlson did a great job with the interview when, like sometimes really smart people do, they can get a little wonky with their verbiage. He would stop her politely and say, "Oh, what does that mean?"
Yeah, right.
You know, and then it was fascinating 2.5 hour podcast that I anticipated being bored with after 15 minutes. And I actually listened to the whole thing because it was about something we should all be interested in, right? What we eat and what that food does to our bodies, and the rise of disease, the rise of autism, the rise of just across the board. I mean, this woman had numbers, statistics, and it was like, wow. Like you you have a problem if you walk around our country. You know we have a problem, but you don't pay it. You don't really think about what is the problem. And she diagnoses the problem and talks about how it could be fixed. But the reason it's not fixed is because Big Pharma is so heavily involved in everything that happens. That was fascinating, and he did a great job interviewing her. And I'll give Rogan this: like, you do that many interviews, you're going to have some stinkers.
Oh, sure.
You're going to have bombs, right? I mean, we've had guests where they leave and we're like, God, we screwed that up. You know, we just didn't get there. Interviewing is difficult.
But he's just so comedian, UFC fighter dependent right now.
Yes, so much.
That
he's in a rut. He's in a rut. And the shows that he does that are really, really good is when he gets people to really dive into current events and things like that. And because he's
and it used to be really, really interested in the specialty of the person. And we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit.
Yeah.
When you get Matthew Walker on and go, let's talk sleep for 3 hours. I'm in. Because you're the expert. Let's hear it.
Let's go.
Get Jordan Peterson on and don't let it be your buddy. Let's talk stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
And it's just not there right now.
Yeah. Well,
and Sandler was an opportunity to get out of it, and he let it go.
I think, and I think Carlson's taking a bite out of Rogan right now. If you look at the numbers,
that's probably true.
And so he's fresh, and so
because we haven't heard all his opinions yet.
He's in a new format.
Yeah,
and he's a person whose opinions I think have changed over time.
Yeah, I found it interesting. It's that. So, all right.
I mean, that was the problem for Carolla, right? Is that you just do so many shows that after a while, you're. One can only have so many opinions.
And I don't know the reasons for it, but Carolla, he got rid of Brian and Gina. He let them go, and then he got a divorce. And all those things have sort of just changed his entire structure.
Yeah.
Even from a podcast format, number of episodes, everything, to where it just doesn't even feel familiar anymore. And I think that's something you have to be very careful at. I
haven't listened to it in forever.
You want to continue to evolve, but you need it to feel familiar. And it's an interesting.
It felt like he forced it.
Yeah, it's just a little.
And maybe just life happened to him a little bit.
Getting older.
Yeah, sure.
Stuff. So anyway, all right. We didn't get to the basketball stuff. We'll go over that tomorrow. We got plenty of time to get into that. Football coming later on today. The
basketball schedules. The home. We'll save it for tomorrow, but I'll give you the quick take on it. The basketball home schedule is
it's really bad.
Chris Beard told me, I said, was it hard to schedule? And was it easier to schedule this year was my question. And he said, no.
That's been a huge detriment for multiple reasons for Ole Miss for years. And I think it does show here.
It does. It showed on that schedule.
Yeah. So we'll get into that tomorrow and whatever football comes up. MPW Digital, rebelgrove.com. In the meantime, take care and we'll talk to you tomorrow.